Hey, if you're new to this channel, my name is Michelle. I garden in Atlanta, Georgia, and on this channel, I share all things gardening so that it becomes less intimidating because gardening is such an incredible therapeutic hobby and I just feel like it should be accessible to everyone. So we don't gatekeep gardening knowledge here. Also, if you hear any clucking, I am out on my hammock, which is right next to the chickens, and that's what they do. So that is the clucking noise in the background. So today I want to talk about how you plant perennials from bare root. You might have seen this type of bag in your garden center. So your big box stores, garden centers will carry bare root sometimes, and Costco, I hit the mother load at Costco almost every year. And you can get perennials for your garden at a fraction of the cost if you start from bare root. If you have never started from bare root, it looks really intimidating because the plants aren't potted up yet. It's just, where do you put it and how deep do you plant it? I don't know, it looks so fragile, but I promise once you get started growing from bare roots, you will be hooked and you will save so much money because you can get 4 clematis for $15 instead of each one for like $15. And I'm going to show you how to plant from bare root this Sniffofia. Another tip that I like to give is that if you're not sure how a plant will do in your garden or your conditions, if you don't have a friend or a neighbor that might grow them, start from bare root or start from kind of the cheapest plant source that you can to give yourself like a little tester. That way, if the plant doesn't do well, you're maybe out only $10, $15 instead of $40, $50 because you bought a whole drift of them. So that is exactly what I'm doing with the Sniffofia. Do I love the red and yellow color? Yeah, it's okay. But the variety that I really want is this gorgeous white and yellow variety. I'll put the name down here, and I've only seen that from online nurseries, which then you pay shipping, they're smaller. So I want to make sure that my soil and my conditions are good for this plant before going in and investing that much money for a drift. So that's why I grabbed this year from Costco. And this is what I'm going to use to kind of give you the confidence to start from bare root too, because you will save so much money, you will get so much more plants. And if you have a big garden that you're looking to fill, perennials are the way to go, and starting from bare roots is the way to go. So let's get started. Couldn't compete with the chickens anymore. They clearly wanted to out-talk me and they didn't want to talk about bare root perennials. So let's do this here. Change of bench location. Here is my bag. Is this an unboxing? Has this turned into an unboxing video? Or maybe it's an unbagging video now. Anyways, I'm gonna open it up and show you what the perennials look like when you first get them, and then what to do so that you can successfully plant up your perennials. So number one tip is to buy them as soon as you see them on the store racks because, look at this. They're already sprouting in here. They're already sprouting. Once they sprout, they want to see sunlight. They want to start growing. So as soon as you buy this, you want to take it out of the bag. It doesn't want to stay in this bag for long. So I feel like once they hit the shelves, go ahead and buy the selection that you want, take it home, and then immediately open it and inspect it. If you see sprouts like this, that is awesome. You are going to want to get this either in the ground or in a pot quickly because these babies are reaching for sunlight. They want to grow, they want some sun, they want to start photosynthesizing. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's open this up further and grab one of these out for you. Oh my gosh. So you can see it's packaged in like a wood shaving or like a cocoa core type thing. This isn't a material that it wants to stay in forever. It is to keep the roots from rotting. And so here is what this looks like. Here is one. You can see it's a pretty good size root division. Lots and lots of new growth. So this has been growing in that bag for quite some time. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get this into a water bath to soak. So I hope you guys weren't expecting me to have some fancy schmancy container for rehydrating roots. This is an empty milk jug that I just cut in half and put some water in, and we're just gonna be taking out the roots one by one. I'm kind of giving them a look over. If there's anything kind of mushy or something that doesn't look right, I would cut it out. But these roots look super healthy, nice and plump. Maybe I could have skipped this step, but it's just a habit that I feel like is beneficial. You're giving the roots some water, you're rehydrating them and letting them know it's good to grow. But clearly these roots know that it's grow time. Also, this was about the time that I realized that I got some extra plants, so that's a fun little surprise. I paid for 5, but when I opened it up and started taking them out to soak, I realized that there was 7, so what a fun bonus. So while that's soaking, let's talk about Kniphofia and why I wanted to plant it, and it's actually right here. Do you see that? It is no secret if you follow me on Instagram that I absolutely love hummingbirds. So I wanted to add this into the girls' little butterfly garden because a lot of the perennials unfortunately died during that huge like frostmageddon or whatever we're calling it, polar vortex. This year it took out a lot of perennials. And so this was a great way to try out the Kniphofia, see how it does in my climate before committing to a different variety, or maybe I'll just keep this variety because this looks like a lot of fun. Okay, so now that these have been soaking for about 15 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and pot them up. If they hadn't already sprouted and you're in a climate where the ground is workable, I would already go ahead and plant this. But because this is sprouted, it has been in a very dark environment. That is why the leaves are so pale. I am going to slowly kind of harden it back off. So which means I'll put it in a shady spot and then I'll move it to a little bit less shady spot and I'll move it to a little bit less shady spot for a number of hours over the course of about a week or so. And then I'll put this in the ground because Kniphofia is actually a full sun plant and this does not look like it's in a condition where it can take full sun right now. So I'm gonna start by potting this up and I'll show you how deep to plant it in just one sec. Okay, so when you are planting a bare root, what you want to pay attention to is where the crown of the plant is. So the crown of the plant is where the plant stems meet the roots, and you want to make sure that this is right at soil level or above soil level. If the crown is planted too low or starts to hold too much water around it, it will rot and your whole plant will die. But you guys watch this video, so you know how to identify your crown of the plant and you know to plant it above your soil level, so you won't have that issue. So now all you're going to do is grab all of those containers that you've been saving in the corner of your garage for so long. Tell me I'm not the only one that saves every single nursery container because one day it might be useful. Today is that day. As a reminder, the only reason that I'm planting these in a pot instead of just directly into the ground is because they have already sprouted and I want to offer those tender shoots some protection since they've been in a dark box this whole time. So I'm going to acclimate to their full sun environment and then place them into the ground. If they hadn't already sprouted, I would have just put them directly into the ground, making sure that I'm planting it with the crown above soil level. I mean, could this really be a Gardens and Chickens YouTube video without one of my kids crashing? I think not. But if you don't already have a garden cart, I highly recommend getting one. They are so handy to have. You don't have to get a fancy one. This one is from Aldi. I use it all the time, especially this time of year when you're moving things about as you're hardening things off or as frosts are coming because it can't just be spring, can it? All right, this Kniphofia is off to live its best life in a shady spot for a few days under a tree. I'll move it to a less shady spot in a few days, and then after a few days more, I'll plant it in the ground. And that's it. It's really that simple. I hope next time that you're at the store and you see those bare root perennials, you know what to do, you're confident, and you go ahead and grab that, put that in your cart. You're going to soak them for 15-20 minutes, and then you're going to find the crown and plant that slightly above the soil level. Whether you're doing that in the pot or whether you're doing that in the garden because your ground is already workable, the keys to success to planting bare root perennials now. I wish I could fast forward time and insert in a gorgeous picture of the Kniphofia blooming in my garden. You're just gonna have to hit that follow button and stick around. I share monthly garden update videos on this page, as well as weekly tips and tricks and then daily shorts. So if you like that kind of stuff, you found the right place. Leave me a comment if that was helpful. Let me know if you've ever grown from bare root before or if now you're going to try, and I'll see you in the next video.